It starts off like some high-budget horror flick. A young Bruce Lee walks out of a dark temple onto a deserted street. The stone statues lining the path look like something straight out of a nightmare, and then one of them literally glitches into life. This masked demon starts chasing him. Bruce bolts for the temple, but the doors slam shut right in his face. The demon corners him and swings a massive Axe Total boss fight vibes. But then, boom, it's just a dream. Except, it's not Bruce's dream, it's his dad's. The guy wakes up drenched in a cold sweat, rushes to check on Bruce, who's totally fine, and swears right there to protect him from whatever garbage the world throws his way. Fast forward a bit, his dad takes him to meet Ip Man, a literal kung fu legend. Bruce goes full grind mode constant, shouting, hitting the wooden dummy, 100% focus. But the master wasn't just teaching him how to break faces, he was dropping deep philosophy. He taught him that the real final boss isn't some guy on the street, but your own inner demons, fear, anger, and hate. Conquering that is the only way to get actual power-ups. By the time he's 20, Bruce is deep into dancing. At a lantern festival, things are chill, until some drunk American sailors start acting like total tools. One of them corners a local girl, and his buddies form a wall so no one can intervene. Bruce isn't having it and steps up. The sailor throws a clumsy haymaker, but Bruce is basically in God mode, dodging everything with insane speed. The sailor keeps coming, getting more aggressive, and ends up with a shredded jacket and zero dignity. He eventually pulls a knife, but Bruce is faster. He whips out a chain, disarms the guy, and sends him crashing into a food table. As the sirens start wailing, Bruce disappears into the night. The girl he saved calls him the Little Dragon. He sneaks back home through the window, only to find his dad waiting in the dark. Turns out the cops already stopped by. The sailor is in the hospital with a punctured lung, and his family is apparently super influential in Hong Kong. Bruce thinks he can just lay low with friends, but his dad drops a bombshell. He has to leave Hong Kong forever. Bruce thinks it's all just cringe superstition, but his dad is genuinely terrified. He's convinced a dark entity is hunting their bloodline, the same demon from his nightmares. See, Bruce's older brother died at birth, which is a massive red flag in Chinese tradition. To hide Bruce from the curse, his parents went to insane lengths. They gave him a girl's name and dressed him in feminine clothes just to confuse the demon. They even made him learn English for the same reason, but his dad felt like the shadow was finally closing in. The plan? Escape to the US. Since Bruce was born in San Francisco while his parents were on tour, he's got the legal paperwork to live there. His dad empties his savings to make it happen, and Bruce is left totally stunned. Soon he's on a ship, hyped for the land of opportunity, showing off a poster of his idol James Dean, but a history teacher on board gives him a brutal reality check. He warns Bruce that in America, Chinese immigrants are seen as second-class citizens and reminds him of the thousands who died building the railroads in horrific conditions. Bruce tries to stay optimistic, but San Francisco hits him like a physical blow. Instead of the dream life, he's forced to take a bottom-tier job washing dishes in a Chinese restaurant for literal pocket change. Talk about a reality check. His only comfort is the bright smile of a young waitress named April. But their innocent flirting stokes a simmering rage in the head cook, Mr. Ho, who retaliates by burying Bruce under an endless pile of chores. The tension is broken only when the restaurant's owner, Miss Yan, steps in, ordering both men back to work. Despite the long hours and meager pay, Bruce never neglects his training, using every spare moment to sharpen his English. But whenever April knocks on his door, everything else is forgotten. Their growing romance finally pushes Mr. Ho over the edge. Humiliated and furious, he lunges at Bruce with a kitchen knife. Bruce defends himself, but the other workers instantly side with the cook. They drag him out the back door and throw him into a dark alley where 4 more cooks with heavy cleavers are waiting. Bruce scrambles up the steel fire escape, using his agility to kick them down one by one. Back on the ground, Ho manages to slash Bruce's side. The sting of the blade sharp and deep, but the pain only fuels his resolve. With blinding speed, he disarms Ho, but when he has the chance to deliver the final blow, he chooses mercy. The fight ends abruptly when Miss Yan appears, furious to find her kitchen staff brawling in the alley. After sending the others back inside, she pulls Bruce aside. She hands him his wages, then offers him a loan. In a soft, seductive tone, she paints a picture. He could spend it all on April shopping, a fine hotel, a night of pleasure. And when the money is gone, he'll be trapped, bound to her restaurant for life, working off a debt that will never shrink. April, she hints, will eventually move on from a simple dishwasher. Or, he could take the money and invest it in his education. Bruce doesn't need to be told twice. Soon, he is enrolled as a philosophy student, splitting his time between his studies and grueling hours in the gym. One afternoon, a regular named Joe cuts his workout short. When Bruce refuses to leave, the tension escalates. Joe sneers that his father was killed by Koreans and he won't share a gym with one. Bruce remains calm, simply stepping aside as the group celebrates their perceived victory. But he isn't finished. On his own terms, he challenges Joe to a fight. The American scoffs, then waits impatiently as Bruce methodically removes his shoes and socks. The fight is over before it begins. Joe throws a wild punch, but Bruce dodges with ease, even nodding with approval at the boxer's form before sending him to the floor with fluid grace. A flurry of precise strikes neutralizes Joe's friends when they try to intervene. Lesson delivered. Bruce leaves quickly to avoid further trouble, but on his way out, he's stopped by two of the men, Benny and Ted. They're not looking for another fight. They're filled with admiration. Stunned by his skill, they ask him to teach them kung fu. Bruce agrees, and soon he has a small, dedicated class. During one session, a young woman named Linda asks to join, and the connection between them is immediate. At their next practice, Bruce calls her forward to spar, only for her to use his momentum against him, flipping him onto his back. But losing the round gives him the advantage. Lying on the mat, he flirts, and wins something far more valuable, a date. That evening, Linda's friend Sherry drives her to meet Bruce, helping her lie to her strict mother. Sherry can't understand the attraction to a Chinese man, but Linda dismisses her friend's prejudice. In the car, she transforms, applying her makeup and slipping into an elegant dress. She steps into a high-class restaurant where Bruce, looking sharp in a suit, is waiting. The night is full of promise, but it's cut short when the host refuses to seat them. Relegated to the bar, they talk over their drinks. As they sit at the bar ignored, Linda tries to lighten the mood. She playfully suggests he open a chain of schools, like McDonald's, but for kung fu. All the while, the host seats one white couple after another, pretending not to see them. When Bruce finally confronts him, his complaints are met with cold indifference. Bruce has learned to swallow his anger, and instead of making a scene, he takes Linda to a Chinese restaurant. On another night, they see breakfast at Tiffany's. While Linda laughs with the rest of the audience, Bruce sits in stony silence, watching a buck-toothed, bumbling caricature of an Asian man that embodies every stereotype he's ever faced. Seeing his pain, Linda suggests they leave. Outside, under the quiet of the night sky, they share their first kiss. Not long after, Bruce leads her to an old abandoned studio. With a fire in his eyes, he tells her this is where he will build his Institute of Martial Arts. The scale of his dreams stuns her for a moment. Then her face breaks into a proud smile. She realizes her playful idea has ignited a real ambition. His institute grows daily, and Linda trains proudly by his side. He continues his university studies working on his dissertation. One day in class, the world tilts. The room violently shakes, and a gust of wind throws him to the floor. The door flies open, and through it steps the demon from his nightmares, a living statue of the ancient masked warrior. Bruce fights back, but its strength is absolute, throwing him to the ground effortlessly. The figure vanishes, and Bruce comes to, realizing it was another vision. The experience leaves him shaken, and Linda notices his unease. He hides the truth, asking instead when he can meet her mother. Linda hesitates, not ready to tell her family she plans to marry a Chinese man. The sting of her hesitation is clear on his face, and he reminds her that he's already told his own father about their love. Finally, she agrees and takes him to meet her mother, Vivian. The visit starts warmly, but the polite facade soon cracks. Vivian bluntly brings up the topic of grandchildren, warning them that mixed-race children will never be truly accepted, either in the East or the West. The words land like a blow. The shock is so sharp, Bruce spills scalding tea on his hand. He rises without a word and storms out, slamming the door. As Vivian insists her daughter can find a better husband, Linda refuses to listen. She runs out into the pouring rain, chasing after the man she loves. He pulls her onto his motorcycle and they ride off together, ready to build a future on their own terms. They marry, and still in his wedding suit, Bruce drives straight to Miss Yan's restaurant to repay the loan that bought him his freedom. The newlyweds then open their own branch of the Kung Fu Institute. Soon, a young boy named Jerome asks to join, and with Bruce's welcome, the school begins to thrive. But one day, Jerome brings him a grim message written in Chinese. Bruce is summoned to a meeting with the local martial arts masters. They are incandescent with rage that he is teaching the sacred art of Kung Fu to non-Chinese students. The elders demand he close his school to all but his own people. Bruce stands his ground, arguing that he is sharing the beauty of their culture and building bridges between people. But his plea for unity is met with cold rejection. If he will not obey, the matter will be settled by combat. Not wanting to burden Linda, he invents a story about tax problems to explain the canceled classes, though she sees the worry in his eyes. Determined to face this challenge alone, Bruce enters the arena with Jerome as his second. The masters present their champion, a brutal fighter named Johnny, a man known for having killed a robber who challenged him. Jerome pleads with Bruce not to go through with it, but the decision is made. Bruce steps into the ring, his opening strikes sharp and rattling. Johnny answers with raw ferocity, raking his nails across Bruce's chest and drawing blood. But Bruce counters with disciplined precision, showcasing the power of both hand and foot. He sweeps Johnny to the ground and unleashes a storm of blows that leave his opponent defenseless. Johnny is forced to submit. But as Bruce turns to leave the ring, humiliation drives his opponent to a final treacherous act. Johnny lunges, delivering a vicious kick to Bruce's unprotected spine. Caught completely off guard, Bruce collapses, writhing in agony. At the hospital, they strap him into a medieval-looking machine designed to stretch his damaged spine. It looks more like an instrument of torture than healing. Linda stays by his side, trying to keep his spirits up, but Bruce is broken, his words cold and distant. When she confronts him for hiding the truth about the fight, he pushes her away, asking if she really wants to be tied to a man who may never walk again. His hope is gone. But Linda refuses to leave him. She reminds him of her own culture, where you don't abandon the people you love, no matter the cost. His harsh words were meant to set her free, but she returns with a notebook and pen, ready to take dictation. He resists at first, wallowing in his weakness, but Linda won't let him drown in self-pity. She tells him that for all the lessons he taught her, it's now his turn to learn one: how to live when you're no longer invincible. The true turning point comes when she reveals she's pregnant. The reality of fatherhood pierces through his despair. He begins to dictate his philosophy, and together they lay the foundation for a new style of martial arts, Jeet Kune Do. While enduring months of painful rehabilitation, he relearns how to use his legs. The day he finally leaves the hospital, he is in a wheelchair, but his spirit is stronger than ever. On that same day, his son, Brandon, is born. In the hospital room, Bruce surrounds the crib with mirrors to ward off evil spirits. When Linda asks if he wants to hold his son, Bruce does something that stuns her. For the first time in 9 months, he stands. Time passes, and joy returns to their home. Their book on Jeet Kune Do is accepted for publication. Not long after, Linda's mother appears on their doorstep. Linda's welcome is cold, but Bruce insists she be allowed to see her grandson. The moment Vivian holds the baby, her icy prejudice melts away, replaced by the simple, unconditional love of a grandmother. Bruce learns to walk again alongside his son, slowly regaining his speed and power. He makes his first public appearance at a major karate championship, but the crowd is hostile, booing his untraditional style. To silence his critics, Bruce makes a bold declaration. He can defeat any fighter in the room in under 60 seconds. A challenger steps from the crowd. It's Johnny. His pride still wounded. He is hungry for revenge. Linda pleads with Bruce not to fight. The doctors warned him it could cripple him for life. But his mind is made up. He enters the ring with unshakable confidence. Just like before, he is untouchable, dodging every one of Johnny's attacks. But for a split second, his focus wavers, and Johnny seizes the opening, slamming his foot into Bruce's weakened spine. For a moment, it looks like it's over, but Johnny celebrates too soon. Bruce fights through the searing pain, gets to his feet, and delivers a single devastating blow that sends Johnny flying out of the ring. The timer reads well under 60 seconds. The crowd erupts. In the audience, television producer Bill Krieger watches, stunned. He's found his new star. He immediately offers Bruce a role in his new series, The Green Hornet. His Hollywood debut in The Green Hornet is a success, but the victory is short-lived. The show is canceled, and devastating news arrives from home. His father is dead. Grief-stricken, he is once again haunted by the demon. He seeks guidance from his old master, Ip Man, who warns him. He must destroy the curse before it can touch his son. Bruce's path becomes clear. An opportunity finds him. His TV role has made him a sensation in Hong Kong, and he's offered the lead in a new film, The Big Boss. But danger follows him. On set, he's ambushed by the brother of his old rival Johnny, seeking blood revenge. The crew, thinking it's part of the movie, keeps the cameras rolling as a real brutal fight to the death unfolds. After a vicious struggle, Bruce emerges victorious. But upon realizing the duel was filmed, he seizes the reel and destroys it, refusing to let his battle be exploited. The premiere of The Big Boss makes him a superstar overnight, but his soaring career comes at a cost. Linda confronts him, feeling abandoned as the film industry consumes him. Torn between his ambition and his family, he accepts a major Hollywood production. Enter the Dragon, a chance to unite both worlds. During the filming of the iconic mirror scene, his visions return with terrifying force. He is trapped in an endless labyrinth with the demon. The creature seizes him, slamming him against a gravestone bearing his own name. As his strength fails, he sees the demon turn its attention to his son, Brandon. That vision ignites a final, primal fury. Bruce rises, grabs a pair of nunchaku, and in a storm of relentless strikes, he finally strangles the life from the demon that has haunted his family for generations. He has conquered his fear. Before filming his final scene, he kisses Linda goodbye, telling her he loves her one last time. Enter the Dragon becomes a worldwide sensation, a masterpiece of the genre. But Bruce Lee never lives to see its success. He passes away suddenly, just 3 weeks before the premiere. The legacy of the Little Dragon, however, was shadowed by tragedy. Years later, his son Brandon would also be claimed by an accident on a film set, a final, heartbreaking echo of a family curse.